I felt strongly called to bring in this message for somebody who's feeling alone right now. Somebody who is feeling like nobody understands them, nobody sees them accurately. Somebody who feels like they're on their own. They're on their own, and maybe quite suddenly too. Maybe there's just like suddenly this realization of how alone one really does feel. This energy was coming in quite strongly. I feel like whoever this message is for, you were having a moment where you were connecting with spirit, trying to find a sense of connection. Maybe you've started connecting more deeply with your soul because you're starting to recognize that you're not feeling the connection anymore with people around you. Maybe you're noticing that things are shifting and the people around you, you don't recognize them anymore. You don't know how to relate to them anymore. Times you've wondered if it was really them or if it was you. You might have seen certain aspects of yourself within these people and these situations, but you recognize that that's no longer an accurate reflection for who you are. You didn't know that acknowledging the truth of who you are, how much it would isolate you. That's how it's coming through. I'm going to get some messages for you. I know what that's like. I've been there before. I've been there at multiple points on my path. I think that it's a necessary passageway for anybody who's a seeker. There's certain stretches of the road that you can only journey by yourself. And at times it can feel like you're all alone. But then there does come points when you really feel that it's all interconnected. Mountains and valleys, that's the path. And it's ever winding, you know? And just when you think you are so alone, that's when character shows up to join you in your storyline. I feel like that's a message coming through for you. Maybe a traveling companion is coming through for you. Let's see what this is. You wanted some kind of guidance, some kind of coordinates. That's what you were seeking from spirit. What should I do? I don't know what to do anymore. Let's see what you should do. You should sit under the light of the moon. When you receive this message, on the evening of the time you receive this message, you should go and you should sit under the light of the moon and speak your secrets to the moon. The moon will hold them for you. It's about letting yourself rest in that darkness and seeing that there's still beauty there. There's still beauty within the dark. There's still light within the dark. And there's also something that the night wants to whisper to you. The night wants to whisper something of transformation to you. A road that's going to be opening up for you soon. It wants you to trust. Trust that there is more to your story than this point you've arrived at. Let's see what this is. Strong Piscean energy coming in there. You may be feeling like you're entering into more of a dreamy sort of space. I feel like your imagination wants to roam free. It wants to color outside of the lines. It wants expression. There's something about creating space for yourself in the nighttime to connect with the artist in you. There's a lot that you can find connection with through what you create. It could even be a source of connection for other people down the road. Getting something about humble beginnings, but it gathers a certain kind of momentum. It brings forward a medicine to share with other people. Might even connect you with a new community. People who have more a visionary awareness like you have. There's some connection coming in here with the Lovers. Could be a muse arriving on your path that opens up a whole new world of possibilities to you. Coming in with Gemini energy, also Venusian energy. Some communication here that cuts through something within you that's made you feel really divided. Something suddenly becomes the obvious choice here. I feel like something is about to become quite simple. Something's being distilled. There's no convolution. They're seeing through all this illusion, what separated one and held them back from this point of being found. Is how it's coming through. Being found, being seen, truly recognized, heard by another. This looks like a path of heart that's freeing you from the crossroads. It's almost got the impression of a wanderer, like somebody who's just been wandering for a while, not feeling really connected to any of it, or rather feeling like everything around you is disconnected and you're connected and you don't understand why the connection can't be made, why others can't see what you're seeing, why they can't feel what you're feeling. And it looks like you're connecting with somebody here who gets it and they see you. It's shocking. It's the Tower. To find that there's others out here who share this perspective. It's like a free fall. You're ready to abandon the old structure, like the old identifications, what you used to view as being in a position of power, having some kind of success, having achieved something. You're starting to see it in a much different way, what it truly means. To have a life of meaning, to have a life of purpose, to build something from the ground up, to build something from nothing. Well, that's something I hear. You want to build something for yourself. You want to build something for yourself. That's a very cathartic process. Maybe you feel like you've never really built something for yourself. I don't know, there's wanting to, it almost feels like a quest in and of itself. Like I have something to prove to myself. Maybe I've always bought into certain narratives that other people have said about what's possible for me, what I'm capable of doing. And I want to question those theories. I want to question those assumptions. I want to put it to the test. Is it true? Or can I actually really build something for myself? It's like you're discovering something that makes you feel like testing what you just sort of accepted as sort of like the ceiling that was put over you. You're breaking the ceiling, you're breaching here. This may be why you felt very alone. You might feel alone initially as you take this leap. But You are timeline hopping here. You are entering in through a portal of transformation. It promises you'll get to the other side. But it is a deep dive initially. But you're diving for light. So you won't get lost in the dark there. You may be surprised where you surface, right? After that deep dive. May not be where you think it's going to be. But it is the fulfillment of the hope that calls you to take the dive in the first place. There's something within you that has not been completely snuffed out, that fire of inspiration, that last little ember of optimism. This is a very resilient part of you that's highly underestimated, I'm hearing. Okay. I like that there's some kind of traveling companion coming in here, or a path that feels like a lover. It almost feels like that, like the path courts you. And it's so deeply rewarding and fulfilling that it's almost like discovering that missing piece of you. It's almost like this path, what you're stepping into here, is an extension. It's an extension of yourself externalized. Ooh, so you can see yourself accurately. It could come through a person. You've got a lot of major arcana coming out here. Real heavy hitter energy. This is an awakening moment. It frees you from indecision. It's very clear where you belong. It's very clear the path that you're meant to step upon here. And you're just about to let yourself down from hanging out here at the crossroads. You're about to free yourself from this holding pattern. Strong Piscean energy. Justice. There's a deception that's seen through. There's an accurate acknowledgement of who you are, what you're here to do. What's been falsely identified with you through projections of other people, stories they've told about you. And you're seeing through this deception, and this is a bit of magic you're retrieving here. It gives you sight in the darkness. It gives you the ability to see where there really is this light that's building, despite what others may say is possible for you. You already have the answers you need. There's some kind of illusion that you're cutting through here. You're bringing balance for yourself. You're not waiting for another to deliver it to you. You're creating this balance for yourself. You're freeing yourself from what had you caught up previously through a change in perspective. This has everything to do with the path that's coming in for you. This is a deeply spiritually transformative time for you right now. There's a lot of fated experiences occurring here. With this much major arcana coming out, you couldn't avoid this. You could hang out here for all eternity. You cannot avoid this. You cannot avoid this passage of feeling alone. Sometimes we have to feel alone. It's an illusion. It's only through being alone that you can accurately come to understand that you're never alone. You're connected to everything. And that's when you leap into the adventure of the Fool. This is a road opening up for you. You are finding a path here. And you're going to be ready to leap into this. Heart wide open. And there's not going to be any rough landings with this trust fall. Got Aries energy here, Aquarian energy. Aquarian energy also coming out with that Tower, as well as the energies of Aries and Scorpio. Okay, so this is a lot of deeply transformative energy that's being initiated here. You're closing out a chapter, and really it's closing out an old storyline. It's the point where you stop letting other people tell your story and you start living it for yourself. Knight of Pentacles. You are going to invest in this path. You're ready to go on the journey. For the sake of the journey itself, you feel it's a worthy pursuit. It's worthy of investment to step on this path, to take the risk. Could have something to do with love, just seeing the lovers there. But let's get some more details. Got the star there, a star mate perhaps. You're leaping into that stargate for sure. It's kind of cool the way it comes through, like that stargate, the waterway, you know, the waters of Aquarius poured out. The waters that are the river Eridanus, you know, that leads to that North Star, even as it heads south. It's like, I love the way this is presenting itself. It's like you're taking the leap into the stargate that is the waterway. It's really beautiful. See, it looks like you're diving down. It looks like you're heading south, but you're diving for light, that brightest star, that guiding star that actually ends up getting you due north where you're meant to go. But first you have to go through that sort of like transformational journey. It's deeply transformational on an emotional level. It's also really cleansing, purifying. Like a lot is going to be lifted from you. A lot of this heaviness you feel around being alone is about to be lifted from you. As you start to feel held and supported in a way that you never have before. And I do feel like there is like a certain meeting here that is part of that. But it's beyond that. There's something about really feeling like you have your place here in this life and that you have a purpose to fulfill and really feeling embodied in that. That's how it's coming through. That may have been difficult to embody in the past. You may be somebody who at times can be a bit disassociative, where you can sort of check out a bit. It can be hard sometimes to be in the body because of everything that you feel there. But it's interesting. It's like there's some kind of transformation you're going through where soon being seated within all of that at one point used to feel very overwhelming is going to feel like home. It's going to feel supportive. And really that's you owning all of your medicines, your empowerments, your gifts, your magics that you hold. And maybe before it felt like too much to be with because others told you that you weren't enough to hold it. You know what I'm saying? And there's really something you're being freed from here. And I love this. It's really such a story of redemption. It's beautiful. When we're around here, look at all of this. This is all major arcana. The Tower, the Lovers, the Hangman, the Star, the Fool. Oh, what is opening up here? What a journey. This is an adventure. It's an adventure of discovery. There's a lot you're discovering about yourself, but there's also something unexpected that happens here in this tale. I feel it. There's like something here that's reaching a critical part of the storyline. And it's really a transforming moment. It's a page turner, I hear. Somebody here could be in that process too. You might be authoring something. And it might be inspired by your life. You may be in this creative process and you feel like you're actually this character. You're really becoming strongly identified with the character. Ooh, the character itself has become your muse. I could see that. What is this? High Priestess in reverse. Ooh. Page of Cups. Discovering your villain arc, are you? No, I've never really delved into my dark side before. That's kind of how that's coming through. Will I be able to dive for light? Justice. Yes. There is a way to hold it in balance. It's all about your focus. You have to be the center balancing point. You see? Yeah, so somebody knows they have to dive really deep. If they're afraid of what they'll find there. Page of Pentacles. I want to go deeper. I want to know more. But I don't know what I'm going to find there. There's like a little bit of fear about diving this deep. There's something coming your way. It's been sanctioned to awaken at this time in your life. This is something that is fate. These are fated experiences. They lead you to the stuff of your destiny. It will cause you to bump up against places inside of you that are in need of transformation. You will have to encounter your shadows, see parts of yourself that you've never seen before. There may be apprehension around this, but there is a way to find light even within those experiences. It is a learning process here. This is a very initiatory experience. Whatever you're coming into alignment with here, this is something that is meant to be. It's a storyline you came here to enact. And there's something valuable you're going to learn through the experience. But you're wondering, should I invest in this? And yet you feel alone. And it's like, this is how you're found. You have to be able to see yourself accurately, right? Before you can truly see others accurately as well. There's something about this. Tell me about this High Priestess in reverse. This is also maybe emerging from a period of darkness, a period of moving through quite a few illusions, slippery territory, concealed intentions, wanting to open the heart to something more, feeling like it might not be safe, feeling there's dangers lurking in the dark. Yeah, something just fell away there. Dangers lurking in the dark. It's lying face down. Let's see what you think this is. The Empress. That's what's resting in the dark. The Empress. She's going to rise soon. I like this. This message keeps coming out. The Empress wants to rise soon. I mean, there's only one way to get to that abundant, fertile, harvest energy where all things grow. You have to first let things decay. You have to let things wither. You have to allow things to fall away. You have to sing over the bones. It's part of it. It's an unavoidable part of it. There's also, when you're going through what I'm seeing here, this is a deep level of spiritual transformation that somebody's going through. It's really, the entire identity is dissolving, and there's a new state of consciousness emerging. And this is a very necessary part of the journey, but it brings the rebirth of Venus. It puts one back in the heart. It allows one to let love in, to be able to receive support, to open up to new life, new experiences, and also to make all things grow. The Empress is abundant. She gives birth to new things. This is birthing a new world. It's also birthing a new storyline. After this deep dive is done, where everything that's false, all the false adornments and all the shadow that needs to be made conscious and integrated, and all the jewels that are there, there's treasures there within the shadow. There's empowerments there. There's magics that can only be discovered through that process. And it's cyclical. We don't just do this once on the path. We do this over and over and over and over again. There will always be gateways of initiation. They will always line the path if you are focused on growth, if you truly want to grow and you want to evolve and you want to continue to expand your horizons inwardly, on a soul level, on an intellectual level, within your heart space, but also experientially in your life. You know, it really does require these times where we have to bump up against that fear, or what we feel is a limitation, or what does it feel like to do something completely on my own. And those gateways of initiation, even though you do have people who support you, you know, for those that do feel there are some people in their corner, certain gateways you can only pass through by yourself. Nobody can truly understand what you're going through because it's so deeply personal, right? And yet this allows you to come into alignment with another or a path. There's strong indications that there's somebody here that joins you on this path after you do the deep dive. Because clearly there's something that's being cleansed here. Something's going through a transformational state. It's like the contemplation point. It's like standing on the cliff and looking at the sea stretched before you. Do I dare enter that sea and go through that transformation? Do I dare dive down to the depths to get to the source of what is at work here in my life, so I can heal it and I can transform it and I can alchemize it and create something new for myself? And it looks like you do, because something really grows here. And it was 29:01 on the clock, 11:01. Yes, there's something that transforms. November 1st. This is evidence something transforms. So I do feel like there's a process underway here where maybe you have felt kind of out of sorts or on your own for a while. And something is about to transform with that new moon that comes in Libra. There's some course of action you commit to. You decide to get on the path. and those first seeds are planted. The first step is taken by November 1st. You'll understand this alignment when that rolls around. So if you have been feeling really alone and not certain where your path of heart is or what action you need to take, you're not going to have to wait much longer. This is deeply fulfilling for you with the 9 of Cups. There's something here that really, I mean, you got your mojo working here. You know what I'm saying? There's something here that is very personally gratifying for you. And again, there's something about this, like, I built this. I did this. I architected this. I created this. I did this. And really standing in the strength of that. And there's just this moment of satisfaction. I like this. This is a really good energy here. I'm so curious. I'm so curious. Is there another that's going to join the path of this one who looks like they're questing solo here? They're about to take a personal risk here to free themselves from a holding pattern, to transform something that's had them caught up in a repeat cycle. It looks like a karmic cycle. It could even be with a certain group of people or with a certain person, or just certain themes that have been like running themes in their life. But in order to do this, it takes a lot of courage, because there's a need to really free oneself. And honestly, you know, risk having to stand alone. That's what it looks like. But it looks like such a beautiful story of transformation. Also, nurturing things quietly. I pick up this too. You know, we see the high priestess, you know, dives deep, but then she emerges as that energy of core when the high priestess resurfaces, looking at it through the lens of the story of Persephone, or you could look at it as the story of Ishtar, or you could look at it as the story of Lilith. It's a tale as old as time of needing to go and dive deep to recover power, to recover the self, to recover the strength of one's roots, one's medicines, one's magics, to see through the illusion, to see through what has cloaked your energy, what's kept you feeling separate, what's kept you feeling isolated, what's kept you feeling like you've been left out in the cold, and instead really finding that you've always been at the center of it all along. This is something that emerges from that time, that it's abundance. It's evident abundance. It's manifest in material reality. And it's going to come sooner than you think. There's a harvest here. There's a harvest here. It's like the Empress is going to stir early. Two of Pentacles. I love this. Look. Yes, achieving balance quite expertly. Look at that. Being able to navigate those waters quite expertly, finding yourself at home in those waters. Willingly embracing the transformation, not fighting it, not resisting it, giving oneself over to it. There's something balancing out here that would have seemed to your former self, I'm hearing, by the time you're to the other side of this, you would have never believed that you could pull this off, that you could balance this out. And when you get where you're meant to go, you will be shocked to see how this turns out. Any clues around that? I can't help. This is just such a really cool storyline here. There's a lot to learn on this path. There's an invitation here too coming through. You're nervous about accepting the invitation to dive deep into this. But if you give yourself over to it, wow, what a story you'll have to tell. This is the whole point of life, in my opinion, you know. Here you are right now, you know, feeling alone. You might even feel like you kind of have to show up for the young part of yourself. There may be a really young part of yourself that feels activated right now, and so you've just been trying to comfort yourself while you've been moving through this territory, feeling alone, speaking to the parts of yourself that do feel scared or do feel, you know, uncertain about what's up ahead. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, right now I feel like this is where you're at. You don't see the opening. Two of Wands in reverse to the Five of Pentacles. See, but something's brewing here. Your Chariot is already getting revved up. I see that, you know. 7 energy. There's something that moves you out of this state. Whatever you went through, man, it was hell. I just want to acknowledge that. You went through something really brutal here. 10 of Swords is a rough ride. What you're walking away from, it ended brutally. It did. It was rough. It was painful. This has been some heavy, heavy territory you've moved through, and I really want to acknowledge that. I don't think you would have been ready, you know, to step on this road, though, that's going to open up for you any other way. Sometimes it's like that. It's raw, man, but it's true. It's the nature of the path. You know, we really get tested, and a lot of times it can feel like we're being pushed beyond the edge of reason, you know. It's a lot, you know. And if you're just showing up and you have the courage to show up and you have the courage to keep taking a step, man, you got to give yourself credit for that. This is some heavy territory that you've moved through here. I think you've dealt with a lot of hurt, you know, a lot of deep wounding here. There's been a lot that could have had you down for the count, but I see a story of somebody who's freeing themselves. I see a story of somebody who's willing to abandon what is false in favor of stepping into what feels like is the truth in their heart. And it's a risk, but it's a risk that inspires, and it's a risk that pays off, and it's the risk that has one finally feeling alive and centered and clear. There's something about this too. It's like the more you step in this direction, the clearer you feel. The less confusing things are, the less convoluted things are, the more things are just crystal clear. Even if you have to crawl there at first. I feel like you're somebody very determined. Like, there may be times you tell yourself stories about you just want to throw in the towel or you just want to give up. But you know that's not who you are. You're not. You're not that person. That's not your story. Others may have tried to put that story on you, but that's not who you are. You're so much more than that. One more round of this. One more round of this. This is a deeply alchemical process that you're going through here, so I think I am going to pull out the angels and imps just to give you a little guidance on that level, moving through this territory. This is a stretch of the road. It can be psychologically challenging. I think that's why it's also important too to learn about the side of the shadow that is a place to rest in darkness. You know, there's something about that too. Ebbs and flows. Let yourself have times of restoration as you're being put through the paces, because this is kind of getting put through the paces of something too. It's emotionally, spiritually challenging territory you're navigating here. You're learning a lot too as you go. Some of you may be going through initiations, like you might be entering into a path of alchemical study. I could see this too, and that just flew out crossing here. What do we got here? Ooh, Seven of Wands. Trying to hold one's position. Some of you may feel like you've been dealing with matters of spiritual attack. You've been trying to maintain your balance through this. You've been doing very well. Let me look into that for a minute here. Tell me about this. You have the higher ground in some way here. Yeah. They may have tried to create some kind of loss or disappointment for you, but you didn't take the bait. That's what I got. You could have had a high priestess in reverse. And that could come through as like a tempting path of exploration. It doesn't have to be embodied within a person. It can be just an energy signature. You could have had something that came in that it looked like a glimmery thing. It was being offered as an enticement. It tried to court you deeper into the shadow. I want to say cart you. So yeah, I mean, this could have been something that could have taken you on quite a ride and in a direction that would have led to deep disappointment here. But you took a stand for something, and maybe that is what isolated you. You've been fending some stuff off. You may feel that it cost you a bit. To extricate yourself from something cost you a bit. You may feel like ever since you extricated yourself from a particular association or a particular path, that there's been something coming at you almost relentlessly. It's taken a lot out of you. I get like some of you may feel like you were under some kind of spiritual warfare here. But I think you've been successful in continually purifying this energy. You've been holding your ground. Yeah, let me do a cut of the deck, because this is why I feel drawn to pull out the angels and imps in relation to this. Let me do a cut of the deck here. Ten of Wands. It's been a heavy burden. I get that. It's been a lot for you to carry, but it's also been an education as well, an alchemy. You know, that's part of having your mettle tested. You get thrown certain challenges. Are you able to rise to those challenges? When we're at the Ten of Wands, though, you're just about to come out of the dark. Like, this burden's going to be laid down. Page of Swords. You'll have a clear strategy soon about how to avoid these problems in the future. That's what I got. There's another way around the situation that will give you a lot more stability, so you're not always having to do this balancing act, okay? New opportunity coming in here. All right? Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Let's get some details about this, because I do feel like this is a matter where you could have been dealing with somebody throwing some curveballs on your path here. It has the impression of maybe somebody who you severed ties with, you walked away from. They lost control of you. They lost control of the narrative. There may be something you're doing too that is defying a narrative that they spun around you. This might be taking this person out of a position of power. That might be why you felt a lot of this energy coming at you. Somebody could be clamoring for control. It could also be somebody who's just a highly manipulative person. They work on the level of eroding social standing. They like to approach through the social angle, like weakening the connections. Maybe that's why you've been feeling isolated. You're not sure who you can really count on, who you can really trust. You've dealt with a lot of shady people with hidden intentions. I mean, your energy looks really good in general, but I do see like there's a little bit of reticence here to dive into something. And so I do want to tap into this piece about spiritual warfare. If you feel like maybe there is somebody who's been throwing some stuff out there or manipulating circumstances around you, like socially, causing problems for you or creating some kind of instability for you. I want to see the best way for you to navigate that and get a little bit of clarity around that. Justice. I mean, I do feel like something is really balancing out here. There's a rebirth kind of energy coming in with this too. Right behind this is the Lovers. All right. So this could be in relation to a lover. Maybe a lover that you disappointed. It's possible. Somebody here may have kind of like fallen from grace. There's something they did perhaps that betrayed this connection, betrayed another here. And I do feel like part of diving deep into whatever this is may require direct confrontation of this. Communication about this. It has something to do with two who connected here. But somebody betrayed a connection in some way. It doesn't have to be a romantic connection, although there's pretty strong indications of this. There's probably some kind of romantic link involved in this situation. It could be a shared lover, a lover in common. But I feel like this is what the betrayal is around. Oof. Okay, all that just came out together. What is this? 9 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords, 7 of Swords. Yeah, there was a betrayal here. What somebody invested in for their own personal gain is being discerned. It's being seen through. It is a South Node matter. It's being lit up by the wizard there, Virgo at the South Node. Something that was invested in for one's own personal gain actually ended up being the thing that kind of like stabbed them in their own foot and has put them in a position where they're in an uncomfortable position here. A little bit of a holding pattern. It's like they were in the process of building those towers and now, you know, those towers are about to come down. That's what I see. Somebody here has been sort of like stockpiling their ammunition, you know what I mean? Like they've been really thinking about what they can do to defend themselves in a situation. And they might be in a position where they're really working hard to protect what's theirs because they do feel like something was stolen from them and it could be an opportunity. There's something about whatever was stolen is going to be returned. And those who were involved in that will be held accountable. There also may be treasures revealed that are hidden from you currently that you're not even aware of. But something is being rectified here in relation to this. What's this crossing energy? 9 of Pentacles. There's a message that's going to come in relation to this. I would be aware of trusting this source because whatever they tell you might slow you down at a time when you're meant to move forward rather unencumbered. I don't know. I mean, there's something really coming through here about, I understand feeling alone. But there's something about that's your point of empowerment. And it is the light that guides you forward away from these sort of tricky, deceptive influences. It's also the path that will lead you to some kind of gain here. You need to trust a higher calling here rather than trusting this call that comes through that's only going to slow you down. It's like somebody reaching out to you, acting like they got a truth to share with you. But see, this isn't a real sword. This is a play sword. And something here will really anchor you down. It anchors down your arrival point at this success, this time of happiness, your sense of purpose. I do feel like this person appears friendly, but you have to be aware of following this counsel. You need to trust the higher order here, like what you're really feeling directed by spirit to do. Even though you may be more used to looking toward practical sort of sources of guidance, this is something you can only feel your way through here. There's going to be traitors revealed to you. You need to know this. It might not be easy to see this, but in you seeing through the illusions, it's going to destroy their plans, and it preserves something for you, a harvest for you, something that's growing here for you. This is something for you. And yeah, you know, you may have to go it alone for a bit. Empress, you may have to go it alone for a bit. Do you see? This is about you. This is about really stepping into that Empress energy. There's abundance here. There's also peace here. There's healing here. There's healing between couples here. So there is somebody that you're connecting with. I feel like you going it alone is part of you actually finding who you are meant to join forces with. You know what I mean? There is somebody joining you here. There will be peace where there's been some kind of discord. It looks like something that was caused by outside interference. And I feel like whoever this is that's going to come in with a slick sales pitch is kind of how it's coming off. Is not going to be able to get you to betray this path that you know you need to step on. But that's what they're going to attempt to do. They're communicating something that they're making it come off like it's the truth. It's not. It's not the truth. They don't have a sword here. They don't have Fragrok. They don't have the answerer. They have a play sword. They play with their words. They may even view it as a game to spin these lies, to tell these tales. They don't understand the way they play with fortunes, and there's also a cost exacted for that. Yeah, look at this. We got the Chariot. Look at the Pathfinder medicine coming in there with all this like bloodshed here. This is bad blood, man. Whoever this person is claiming they have a way forward here, if you just hitch your cart to theirs, they are a sower of discord and a slayer of men. Chariot energy there. Yep, crossing energy with that. Knight of Wands. This is the hook, man. Lures can be glimmery, pretty, sparkly things, but you take a bite and you get dragged back in, you know? You were just about to get to where you're looking to go and make your connection point, and suddenly you're transported somewhere you never wanted to be. Be careful of what cart you hitch your horse to, okay? Yeah. 3 of Cups. There's a third element here that you need to be aware of. I do feel like there's a friendly influence here that is helpful. And this is somebody who feels protective over you. Coming in with the bear medicine there. Bear, grizzly bear. Guardian of the West on the medicine wheel. Could be someone from Butterfly Clan. We've had quite a bit of like justice reference come out on the board here. Empress reference. It is Libra season 2, so there could be something really coming through in Libra season. There's been Gemini reference. We've seen Aquarian reference too. So this could involve somebody from Butterfly Clan. Also, Grizzly is Virgo. Could be a Virgo connection here too. Have Knight of Pentacles here. In relation to work, some kind of partnership coming in relation to work. Somebody claiming that they can take something, especially if you've been working on something creatively and they tell you they can take it to the next level or make it happen quicker. It's not true. It's a sales pitch. Don't get hooked in by this. It will really slow down your progress. You're better off continuing to go it alone. All right, that needs to come through for somebody here. Crossing energy here with this Knight of Wands. Page of Pentacles, loyalty and allegiance, friendship and reconciliation. Okay, so it's interesting because there's two different Knight energies here. So there's movement forward here coming from two different quarters. We have a Knight of Pentacles who may be coming in. They want to offer some kind of assistance, make some kind of investment. It could be in your work or wanting to partner on something. I feel like that is not the right route to go. It actually could really get you slowed down just as you're starting to get some traction. Also, there's something that could really be compromised here. There could be some kind of theft of your ideas or monetary gain as well. Somebody could take a bigger cut than what was initially agreed upon. There's something here that is suspect. And then on this angle here with this Knight of Wands, we do have an energy where there is friendship here too. So this could be like a friendly advance. This could be somebody who has strong fire and earth in their chart, or they can be somebody that approaches you from a business angle, but that is the hook. And it's sort of the hook based on the friendship you've shared. But there's kind of like Pied Piper reference here too. I would be leery about getting involved on a business level, whatever this is. There's something there. I don't know. I'm getting a little bait and switch energy with that. All of this feels really, positive, everything that's brewing here. But we do know that there's sort of like this subversive influence here too that's operating out of the shadow. And there's some secretive things at play here too that can be very alluring. And you just want to make sure that you don't get hooked into something that can compromise this treasure. I do think that you're going to see through it though, because you're really at this point that this comes in, you spend enough time on your own that it's going to make you quite decisive about somebody's true intentions. I really feel that. And you'll be able to tell, like, I don't think I can really trust this person. And you would be wise to stick with that, okay? Because that's what will unravel these plans. Yep, look at that. It protects your Ace of Pentacles here. There are others who have an eye on what you're growing or what you're developing, or they want insight into this. They do. But you have some divine blessings here. And evil spirits are being driven away as we speak. But this does require you to use the gifts that you've been given, your gift of sight. So if you see it, if you recognize it, if you get the intuitive hit, or if it doesn't feel right, then, don't take the bait. And maybe this is a test that you need to be presented with because there's been a lot of times in your life that something didn't feel right and you went ahead with it anyway. And then you suffered the repercussions. This is really trying to show you that you do know the way forward. You don't need outside opinion. You got to trust your vision. And you also got to trust when you're seeing things that maybe you don't want to see, things that are painful to acknowledge, and respect that information that you're getting because that's what's protecting you. Queen of Swords. Okay, real strong. Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy coming in here. This is something that is going down in Libra season 2. I feel like this is gathering momentum. You're going to start to see signs of this. You're about to acquire all the treasures of heaven and earth. But see, there's somebody here too that might have an eye on this. Queen of Pentacles. See, this, it's coming in as an advancement from more of like a business quarter. And there is something that you should bring to completion here. Bringing this to completion is what transmutes the energy that's been holding you back. It requires you to take action on behalf of yourself. You already have the truth. You already have the answers you need. And I think because of that, you're not going to buy into this. And this is what allows you to preserve this blessing that's coming in for you. There's definitely an alchemist here. It could be a Taurus. Strong Taurus indications here. Let me get some clarification on these characters. I want to see, I know something needs to come to completion here. It's a pattern that's been in a fixed position for a long time with the world. Bringing this to completion, it could be an association, a connection, or a particular partnership. Bringing this to completion actually guarantees success in all your ventures, which I find really interesting. So I want to get some details here. Looks like Queen of Swords energy, which Queen of Swords, all air signs, yes, Virgo energy too. It can also be somebody who has made the choice to separate themselves from the pack, from a situation. They've made a choice to cut something off, to go at something alone. This is the right way. This is what acquires all treasures of heaven and earth. But I do see somebody here has got their eyes on this. That's how it appears. They're hoping to transform a situation, maybe find a way back in. This could be somebody with strong fire, earth in their chart. So let's get some details here. We've had quite a few characters come out on the board. We've got all the water signs out here, all the fire signs out here. For Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, really strong Pisces, strong Cancer too. We've had strong fire as well. Strong Aries energy, initiatory energy. There's been some Sagittarius reference in here as well. I haven't really seen a lot of Leo yet. For Earth, I see strong Taurus and Virgo predominantly. It's kind of what we got out on the board. Right. So, and with the world here, we're dealing with fixed signs. So Leo in the mix there. That's how Leo's kind of showing up. And Scorpio's coming in there too, okay? Yeah, there's some alignment that's coming in here. There is a moment of celebration, but there's sort of like a false flag coming in first. Like there's somebody that's coming in here saying, yeah, I broke from that pack and I'm ready to team efforts with you. Let's give this a go. I think this can really pay off. Let's strike it rich. Let's turn this wheel of fortune. Let's take this gamble. But you got to be aware of this because they are false. Six of Hearts coming in the shadow like that. There's a lot of cloaked intentions. There's a lot of strings attached with what they're presenting here, which is why you would be better off continuing on alone and letting this go. There's some kind of third entity, third variable, third party involved in the mix of this situation that makes it necessary to bring it to an end. Do you see? It comes to 13, death. This is not a path that will lead to any kind of harvest. It's a fallow field. There's nothing to plant there. You're better off transforming this and continuing to go forward as you have been up until this point. That's what brings successful completion of this cycle. This is what opens your road and gives you a new view of your future. It also creates some kind of expansion, especially for any kind of work that you're doing online. Now, there could be a lot kind of buzzing online too. There could be a lot of online communication. There could be a social network that's factoring into this strongly here. And this could be how people are connected, okay? Through a social network, how that came out. There's something about that, though, that muddies the mix, muddies the offer. And there's not transparency around this. If you knew, it would be a complicating factor. So you're getting a heads up. It feels like this is a heads up to... It's interesting because it's almost like giving you strength in staying the course on your own. Like to really have the strength and courage to stand on your own and continue to go through this deep transformational process you're going through. Because where you arrive is the stuff of your destiny. There is treasure there. There is alignment there. There is a path of heart there. There's personal fulfillment there. There's self-cultivation. There's so much learned through the journey. And there's strength after strength after strength. And yes, there's challenges. But going this way just is all out loss. There's nothing to glean there. And you've already made it so far with the 10 of Wands. Like you're almost to the summit. Like it would be like abandoning course just as you're about to get through to that goal that you've been mining for. This is the transformation point, but there's like a test here. And it really requires you to trust what you know is true, even though the outer presentation may defy that. So somebody may have been feeling like alone or sorry for themselves, but I see really this is the moment of your success and overthrowing what has been the source of repeated defeat. It's like you're defeating something that has kept you in a holding pattern for way too long here. And that's how you're really reclaiming your heart here. King of Hearts in the light. This is beautiful. Reclaiming the path of heart. Not investing in paths that make you feel like you always have to fend one thing off after another. It doesn't need to be that hard. You can just cash it out. You can take a new action. You can balance it out. You can find temperance, transform that. You let this wither on the vine. Then you got something you can work with. There's the magician raising the wand, ready to change circumstances and break free from all this illusion by shedding light on what's been happening in the dark. This is how you reclaim your heart. You stop lying to yourself. And you start living from that place of the truth in your heart. You let down the walls. You let down the defenses. You stop defending things that are an empty victory here. And you invest in a path of heart. And leave behind the manipulation. Somebody in this scenario is going through a radical transformation. It's got sort of like the vibes of somebody who was moving in a way that was taking them down the wrong path. And they're having a change of heart. But this does require them to go alone and face some opposition. That's just a necessary part of the journey. But it leads to success. Tell me about this Queen of Pentacles. Okay, we just had shadow go over the heart here with the Queen of Pentacles. Misalignment. Misalignment. Can't build with whoever this is. The heart is not in the right place. It's very combative. It's very combative. This is why there's the need to break free, go alone. It might be a struggle to break free from this particular individual. They seem to be very focused on monetary matters, acquisition of something material here. What's going on with this Queen of Swords? What's up with this Queen of Swords? It looks like they're in line to acquire something. Energy coming out in light, landing right on the King of Hearts. There's some kind of reunion happening here. Something that was severed is being mended. And the 2 with the 1 equals 3. The Empress. That's what this energy is. Recovering after severe betrayal. There's been some kind of betrayal here that's being rectified. Somebody's trying to see, is there still fire here? Can we get a little kindling going here to bring some warmth to what's gone cold? We got a Queen of Clubs here. So yeah, it looks like maybe this fire needs to get lit. Like the Queen's fire has gone a little cold to this, probably because of some kind of betrayal in this situation. And that's what looks like is trying to get turned around here because somebody really walked away and cut themselves off from this. We got the King of Clubs here. Coming in the light to the 8 of Hearts in the shadow. Something's been really hard to cast off, but I see them doing it. It wants to attach itself though, you see. The King of Clubs is trying to move away from this, but it wants to attach itself. It's an energy that wants to hold on. So this Queen of Pentacles energy could be somebody that doesn't want to lose certain status or something that's materially related in this King of Clubs moving away. So it could even be them like dissolving a business partnership or something. This could play out in a few different ways. Because I do see like whatever initial advance comes in here, it's related to business. But this is tricky. It is a little tricky. I feel like something needs to go through a transformation first. There's something about timing here. Knowing when you have to go alone and knowing when it is time to kind of like soften to something and let it in. I feel like this King of Clubs, King of Hearts energy, I feel like they're in transformation right now. Is that accurate? Is this King of Clubs, King of Hearts energy currently going through a transformation? Where are they at right now? You see, they come out with shadow and light. Yeah, I mean, they're closing out some rough stuff. They're doing some work on their public image, you could say. It's been marred a bit. I think they got caught up in some stuff. They've been balancing out some karma. They've been in the hangman position. I feel like this person's been owning that like they've had to. But the road's about to open because of some action they're taking here. I see that there's a lot of opposition to the action they're taking though, because people feel like it's really selfish and so they're trying to cut it off. But, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants. I see they're going to take this action. They're going to go their own way. It pains someone's heart, the direction that they're heading in. It pains someone's heart. Puts them up in their head. And this is what causes them to want to act out and create towers for other people. They don't want somebody getting this offer. They feel it should be their offer. That's what this is, okay? Really wild. I didn't expect this reading to go like this. I think whoever is being approached here, it looks like it's a Queen of Swords energy. Is the Queen of Swords the one being approached here? Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands could be somebody with strong fire and air in their chart. The Queen of Swords being approached here. It's turned up in the center. Yeah. King of Hearts, hidden. See, King of Hearts in the shadow. This energy is still in transformation. It's attached to something that compromises it. You need to maintain your ground and don't yield it to this joker. Okay? If somebody needed to hear that. I mean, I feel like you've been dealing with some tricky situations here, but I see you're already at the higher ground. So don't yield the field. Don't yield the field when you're about to receive your harvest, okay? You do have a test coming in here, and you need to trust your own judgment. And if it don't feel right, it don't feel right. And if they tell you, well, if you don't act now, you miss out on that opportunity, then, well, okay, I guess, so be it. You know, this is when you really have to trust yourself. And that is why you have to go alone sometimes. There does come that point on the path where that is the test. Can you trust yourself? Even when everybody else tells you you're wrong, but you know deep in your heart, no, this is right. And it may mean too, somebody may face a test where everybody assumes them to be one way, you know, and that may be something that does affect the reputation, but then there's like vindication in the end. We see it clearly. This is the point in your story where sometimes it can appear that antagonistic forces have the upper hand, but these are battles that are won, so to speak, quietly. You know, it's not all the glory that you see splashed out in grand tales. Like so much of what is overcome when we are facing severe opposition is not about these bold displays, not these overt actions, but it's more the subtle ability to be able to master things internally and understanding the value of timing and when it's best to pull the energy back and when it's time to bring it forward and when it's time to really show your strengths and share your gifts and when it's time to protect them and ward them and work on things quietly and work with more of an element of surprise. So I see, ooh, yeah, damn it. That like jumped out. I mean, you know, sometimes you gotta fool the fools who think they're fooling you. You know, you gotta play the fool a little bit, you know, but just make sure that in doing that, you don't end up fooling yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you can pull like a little coyote medicine on yourself where you find yourself going in circles thinking that you're trying to overcome some kind of opposition that you've invented in your mind, you know? And that's not going to work for you. See, that's what's going on with that Queen of Pentacles energy. She's got herself all worked up going around in circles thinking there's some kind of opposition here. It's more just her own opposition to the reality of a situation that's causing the conflict. And once she sees that, then she can reclaim her true nature. Then she can transform that energy and move more into the exalted form, the Empress. But see, there's something here of a shadowy nature that first needs to be integrated before that can be achieved. There's a far more superficial kind of value, mindset here than really understanding the value of what truly sustains and matters. And until this particular I don't know how to put that. it's just like a false sense of value. I don't want to say inequity, but that is what it is in a sense. It's an inequity because of the way it robs one of their true richness in life. It's more an inequity for the one who has this sort of fixation. Yeah, somebody's value system is off. Somebody's more focused on acquisition rather than acknowledgement. Of the truth, of the reality of a situation. Yeah. I do feel like there's something that's going to happen that's going to force this person to confront this. There's some kind of like rocking in the foundation. And this person will go through their own cycle, you know, of feeling alone and finding their way through, you know. They'll go through their own period of feeling exiled. I mean, it's a necessary part of the soul's journey. Okay. Any further guidance about this matter? Yeah, don't take the offer. Don't take the offer. Don't sign on the dotted line for anything that has you feeling the least bit unsure, because it really is like making a deal with the devil. It will be a binding agreement and you'll wish you never would have looked. It's like double mourning here. This will really drain you of your own authority, act on your behalf. It will freeze you out, man, with the Four of Spades. Like, there will be nothing that comes of this. Yeah, it's time to balance this out. Like, you've already been through this. You don't need to get dealt this hand again. You don't need to learn this lesson again. You can balance it out now by refusing this when it comes in and continuing to go your own way. And I think this is what's going to be hard for you, because you've been really pushing hard on your own. And this may feel like it could be the answer to everything you've been looking for, but deep down in your heart, you're going to know it's not the right choice, and you're being asked to do the trust fall. And it's like, once you face that fear and you stay true to your heart, I feel like that's when everything opens up to you. But this is quite an initiatory test. Cut of the deck. All right. Ready, steady yourself to prepare to cut this off. You're going to have to make a decision here. And you're going to have to do this very decisively, but you're going to be armed with the truth. When you make this judgment call, you will have all the answers you need, and you'll know exactly what you need to cut off. King of Spades. Again, there's something here about networks, social networks, that are causing like some kind of disappointment here. There's something going on here that's creating disappointment and separation. And on the other side there, we have the Queen of Spades. So we got a pair here, and they're both facing this together. You know, they're facing this, what has been creating blockage, what's been creating problems or opposition through a misuse of power. Okay, so there's definitely something being balanced out here. And there's something hot on these energies' tails. This is like a past matter, but we see it. Like something's trying to create blocks and get these energies like caught up, held back. And it has something to do with the acquisition, some kind of fortune, some type of material advantage. There's a lot of tricky stuff around this. So I would just steer clear of any offers put on the table here. Continue to go your own way. It looks like that's what works out to your ultimate advantage. Let's go ahead and get a goddess guidance card. What is the step? This, oh, interesting there. Previous reading, golden opportunity. It's going to come in here. Yeah, it's dressed up as a golden opportunity. But you would be wise to weigh this against a feather, you know? Weigh the heart of what they're selling you here against the feather, which is heavier, okay? There's something here about really trusting your heart. I just want to get like an overarching kind of message, spiritual guidance here for this person who looks like they've been fending off a lot on their own, dealing with a tricky situation. Looks like you have been cut off from somebody and you may not realize it, but they've also been dealing with a similar situation as you. There's been some kind of division created between the two of you. I do feel like ultimately there will be some kind of healing, reconciliation in that situation, but I don't think immediately. You're each going through the paces on your own to retrieve your power and go through your own transformations before you can get on the same page with each other and open up a new chapter here. There are some false offers coming through that you need to be aware of. They're deceptive and they're not for your advantage at all. They will be to your disadvantage. They will hold you up. They will rob you blind. This is not what you want to sign on the dotted line for. Continue to do the work even without the glory. Do the work for the sake of the work because it's a calling. And you'll see. It really does all open up and free up once you get through this really cloaked sort of subversive territory here. I'm going to get you the Goddess Guidance card though to see what energy you need to connect with at this time, what energy is watching over you, and what is the general nature of the terrain ahead so you can accurately see the possibilities before you. I mean, we got Vesta here. Okay, so this is really about spending time, you know, just nurturing yourself. It also makes me think of nurturing that fire alone too. Vesta, her priestesses, they kept the fires going subterraneanly underneath the city. That's what they did. They tended to the fire. The fire is about that alchemy. It's about that transformation. So this is really tend to yourself, tend to your fire. Continue to do this work even without any kind of glory. Continue to stay true to your path, even though it doesn't seem like it's yielding quite what you hoped it would at this point, or you feel like you're dealing with a lot of obstacles or a lot of impish sort of energy that's just creating unnecessary flotsam and jetsam in the waterway that's wanting to take you where you need to go. There's also something here where if you have felt like things have felt a little off home base, you know, where you haven't felt really that place where you belong, or maybe even in your home, if you share your home with others, if things have felt just out of harmony, there's something happening here where something's being healed. There's a lot that's improving here. There's a lot that's making you feel like something is shifting. There are healthy changes at work here, okay? So stay the course even when it's not easy. And it could even be that you're in process of going through this with someone actively, but you both feel very alone, even though you're both going through the same thing. You're just going through your own personal transformation. So that's always interesting to navigate here too. But with Vesta also, they're like the Vestal virgins. So this is kind of really like being in your own energy here while you're doing this work. This is not really the time to necessarily come together with others. And yet there is something here about future union coming on through, but only after individual transformation process is how it appears. And there's a lot of false flags out there. That's how they're coming through. They're red flags. It may look like a green flag. That may be what's being sold, but it's not. It's not the path of heart. And, you know, sometimes the path of heart is a rough path, you know, to really get to a place of truth and purity in the heart. There's a lot you go through. There's a lot of illusion you have to sort through. There's a lot of deep healing work you have to do. Soulless bodies of water on the bottom of the deck. It's good to connect with the water at this time, just to have a point of reflection, to allow yourself to experience some cleansing, you know, just to have a way to release what you've been holding on to here. If you can, spend some time near the water, spend some time at a lake, at the river, at the ocean, just so you can recalibrate, recharge your batteries here. It's good to meditate on water. Water can teach us a lot about how to flow with the emotions, and water really is good for holding that space, you know, to teach us how to flow with these changes we're going through in life. And this is beautiful. See, it's unconditional love with Mary Magdalene. So this is the energy coming through. There's a need to really get to this place where you understand that though you may be going through something, it appears alone, you're not. There's others that are also in this process too. Others that you will connect with. And this is about really being kind to yourself as you're going through this, to love yourself and also extend that compassion to others, to understand that no matter how things appear on the surface, there's something really deeply transformational happening here. And a lot of coming into that place of love, it can hurt, you know, it's like the heart gets cracked open, the heart gets broken open, and that may be after getting washed up against the rocky shore, you know, you go through an experience that cracks you open so you can get through all of those things that are barriers to love. And a lot of those things can have us bumping up against shadow parts of ourselves when we really want something to go a certain way, and it doesn't go like that. And then you have to take it to the next octave and go, yeah, but if I truly love, you know, this person, I would want them to have what's going to fill their heart. And that's taking something to a higher level, because it means a sacrifice for you, right? It means you have to grasp a thorn in order to see the one that you said you loved, you know, receive what makes their heart full. And that can be painful at times. It's a difficult lesson to learn what the true nature of love is. The true nature of love is this allowing. It's allowing people to be who they are too. It's allowing for the imperfections. It's also understanding that we can make mistakes. We can really veer off course. We can really get it wrong. We can villainize ourselves in the process. We can do things out of hurt places. We act out of character. We make a mess of things. But no matter where you've been or what your station in life, there always is a point of redemption. And everybody always has that opportunity before them at any time to have redemption. And that's what this is about. This is getting to the heart of the matter. It's a real deep dive. But what's found is unconditional love. It begins with you, you know. But there is somebody to share it with. There is somebody that's going through this process too. You're marrying somebody here. Cut of the deck. And it brings a golden opportunity. Important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. After you get to the other side of this transformational process and you finally feel really rooted in that space where you've cleansed away all of the resistance to what needs to be released and how it needs to be transformed, and you just leave yourself open, by the time you arrive on that shore transformed and that bardic road opens to you, it's lined with new doors to walk through, and these are golden opportunities for you. So don't back down. Tend to your fire. Stay in this strong position. Breathe. Same energy as Caradwin. It's time to tend the fire of the cauldron. It's time to go through this transformation, and it's time for you to stand up for what you believe is right and true for you. And that is what's worth defending to the end, even if you have to stand alone. It will take you to a position of empowerment and a golden opportunity. Keep your attention and intentions very focused. Single pointed focus here. Diana, another very independent energy. Bright future is what's ahead. There's obstacles being removed as we speak, as long as you stay the course. There is abundance that will follow. There is a lot of abundance that will follow. Quite the harvest. The true gold of the Tuatha De Danann. If you stay the course, lonely wanderer, it won't be long until you link with your star mate.